All right. So let me share my screen. The session is already being recorded. At least you would get that information immediately you are logging in. Let me share my screen. Give me a moment. All right. So introduction to manual software testing. All right. So like I said, this is an introduction class. Okay, Shegun studied computer science and is here to refresh his memory. He's currently a music producer slash artist. All right, Shegun, thank you very much. Okay. So this is an introduction class to software testing or manual software testing, right? So in this class, we would know exactly what software testing is, why we do software testing, and why software testing is really, really very important. We would also look into, key differences between the kind of software testing that we have, manual software testing and automated software testing. And we would also look into manual software testing in details, or look more into manual software testing, right? So of course, manual software testing is a type of software testing where testers are required to manually execute the test cases without using any automation tools, right? So what this means is, in one manual software testing, we actually test the software, or we go about executing the test on whatever software that we want to test manually, right? So we are exerting human efforts manually. We go through the software steps by steps, in the steps by step, without actually writing any scripts or using any automation tools to run that test. We will look into script and automation tests while we go further, right? So manual software testing it's actually the most primitive of all testing types, and it helps find bug in software systems, right? So a new application or updates must be manually tested before its testing can be automated, right? So even though we still execute automated software testing, manual software testing is still very important, even though it's primitive and it requires human effort, right? So manual testing requires more efforts, but it's necessary to check automation feasibility. We will look into that also later. So manual testing does not require knowledge of any testing tools, okay? It doesn't require knowledge of any, what they mean by testing tools there is automated testing tools, right? So one of the software testing fundamentals is 100% automation is not possible. Just like I say, even if automation or automation testing is actually very proficient and efficient, and we also use it most of the time, we would still require a form of testing the application manually, right? So then, what is automation testing? We have looked into the introduction and the brief definition of manual software testing. Then, for automation testing, in automated software testings, testers write the code and the scripts, right, to automate the test execution. So testers use appropriate automation tools to develop the test scripts and validate the software. So in this case, rather than actually going through the software page by page, screen by screen, testing the functionalities of the software, what we do here is to write scripts. Okay, Inyabo. What we need to do here is to write scripts, and then we execute these scripts, okay? So in automated software testing, the only human effort there is you write the script the first time, and then subsequently you execute the script. Now, you can either execute the script yourself by a click of a button, or by inputting a script that would run, or you can also automate that script to run like in CI/CD, as continuous integration, and where once the code is pushed or deployed to a cloud platform, the platform would actually go through the test script files and execute these scripts themselves. Or you can also automate this so that the test would run at intervals, right? We would also look into that when we are looking more into automated test. So the goal is to complete test execution in less amount of time, right? So what it will take someone to manually test a software, it will take a script to actually run that same test in seconds, at most minutes, right? So automated testing entirely rely on the prescripted tests, which runs automatically to compare actual results with the expected results, right? So in this case, this helps the tester to determine whether or not an application performs as expected, right? So, like I said earlier, so in automated testing, it strictly rely on whatever scripts that is written, and those scripts are written against a requirement or a criteria. So whatever scripts that you are writing, they are writing against requirements or criteria. So once that script is run, it will test the application against those requirements that is being written, right? And this would help to determine whether or not the application performs as expected. So automated testing helps to execute repetitive tasks and regression tests without the intervention of manual tester, right? So repetitive tasks, just like I said, you might actually configure the test to run at interval. Maybe a particular test should run every 6 hours or 3 hours or 2 hours or 30 minutes. So depending on when you want that test to run, right? So it will run repetitively, right? Making sure that the application or whatever code that is being added to the code base it will run and test those code against the requirements, right? Unlike manual that you would require human effort to actually go through to actually go through the application manually, testing the functionality by clicking and by verifying. Okay. So even though all the processes are performed automatically, automation tests require some manual efforts to create initial testing scripts, of course. So like I said, in automation testing, the only human efforts that you would need at first would be writing the scripts, okay? And then if it's a test that you would want to be running manually, then the other human effort would be for you to just execute the scripts manually and it will run. But of course, in these modern days, we automate. These modern days, mostly, you would only run the script manually in your local environment. We would talk about environments in the future, in your local environment. But once it's been deployed to the cloud or the staging environment, or once your code is already in production, those tests would run automatically and they will run at intervals, right? Okay. So these are two different kind of ways that we would look into manual and automated tests, right? So in automation tests, for example, we have a website, asos.com, and we want to actually just write two different kind of tests, both automated tests and manual tests, to actually run or test a particular functionality in this website. So the first one, the future, which is purchase. Now, this is actually, this is like an algorithm, right? It's not necessarily a code. This is like an algorithm that we would want to execute, right? To actually test a particular function in the website. Now, but in the case of manual, we are manually checking the count of the items. In this case, we want to actually, this is purchase is greater than counts. And we want to actually check if what we are purchasing is greater than the amount that we purchase. Now, in the counts, we are looking at count just 10, right? So users discount is 15%. Find checkout, y equals to blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. I actually do not know how to explain this for it to actually make sense. But this is actually an algorithm